Hi everyone, we're finally starting our YouTube channel. After talking about it for over 3 years, we finally decided to do it. And we could not start any other way but to pay tribute to our number one fan, Mama Winnie, which is my mother-in-law, Coyote's mom. And she's the reason why we are even together, right?
Yeah. And she's the reason why I came home to LA after serving in Peace Corps Thailand, because I found out during my service that she had stage 4 cervical cancer. So I came home to help her with her radiation and her chemotherapy, and I downloaded the dating apps, and that's how I got to meet this handsome guy.
We got a daughter in the background. I know, baby. But yeah, so she supported us from the beginning. She brought me into the family. She loved me so much, showed me so much love. And even when we brought the idea to her about buying a bus and traveling the country, she right away was, our supporter. She was with it.
Yeah.
And even during the trip, when she had her tough times with the chemotherapy and all that, and Coyote is just like, okay, Mom, I'm gonna come back to see you. She's like, no, enjoy your time. We planned our trip, so she's like, we're gonna see each other in such time, so don't worry, I'm okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's amazing.
Even to the end during her hospice care, we kept thinking that this is it. She's gonna take her last breath, and she was still holding on to something, and we didn't know what she was holding on for, but we realized that she was waiting to hear what was next for us. So it wasn't until we told her the date of our wedding day that we finally decided that it would be on July 9th, her birthday, that she was ready to let go. And so
she passed that morning, right? That 5 o'clock in the morning. And also, yeah, the other reason why we want to start this channel is to, when Lua, our baby, is of age and she can actually rewatch this, to not only talk about it, but also show her how special her grandmother was. And the reason for the channel is just for our family, even for our next baby, Kai, to know how special, Mama Winnie was and how thankful we are. And now it's time to start our channel. Finally, let's go.
Hi, I'm Coyote Sierra, and this is my crazy Brazilian husband, Vitor. Welcome to Party with VK.
The beginning was we were dating for about 3 months in, and we were in my room, and I'm like just scrolling through Instagram, and I'm like, oh, and I followed so many van lives for the last 3 years. I was into the van life scene, and then I showed it to her, like, look at how cool these are, right? Like, what you think about that? And then she right away like, oh, that's amazing.
Yeah,
and
that's something that I had already wanted to do, being in the Peace Corps and meeting Americans from all over the country, all over the US. I got to hear about different states, and I was just excited to travel the country to see all their hometowns. So we actually at one point planned to get a big RV and visit everyone throughout the United States.
Yeah, she was thinking about RVing, and I'm like, but check it out.
Van life was a thing.
Yeah, look at these vans, like they're better because they're like, they're smaller. It's way cooler, and we can do it ourselves. We can like design it ourselves.
I just need someone who's willing to do it.
And then as soon as I saw that she was in, I'm like, okay, this is my future wife. I'm like, she's down for it. Like, I'm like, finally I can like try to do something different than like just the corporate life. Because at that time I was living in Hollywood and like working in the corporate world and all that. So we're like, okay, this is it. And right away I was like, are you sure? I'm like, I'm gonna go all in. And she's like, I put her in. She's like, yes, I'm all in. So then I right away started looking for prices of vans and like planning things out, and like giving a suggestion. Like what we did, it was just like, let's go see vans, but at the same time, let's rent a van and let's take a trip somewhere just to try it out, different layouts, and see how we feel inside of one. And when we saw a couple of ProMasters, that was my number one. I wanted a ProMaster. Sprinters were too expensive, and we did get to see one that was really close of buying it,
It was a co-sign and everything.
Yeah, I was like, she was gonna co-sign, and like, I was like, I think it was $35,000, and I know like coming in, I'm like, I don't want to spend more than $600 a month, as in the monthly, payments. And I think it was 825, something like that. And I'm like, negotiating with, lure this and that. And it was like, if you cannot make it to 600, I'm walking. And the guy's like, I cannot. I'm like, okay, this is not
so
meant
close,
to be.
But it wasn't meant to be.
And thank the Lord, because we would have spent already. We already started off already with like a $35,000 thing.
Yeah.
And
brand new.
That was what I wanted it, but I'm like, man, I never build anything, like I don't own a tool, like I never done any construction.
Yeah.
We're gonna just destroy, right? Like a brand new thing. So then it's like, okay, let's go on our trip, let's let it simmer. And we ended up going to San Francisco.
Yeah, so that I have family in San Francisco at Tecuki. You were our first
big
family.
Shout out. At Tecuki and Comat.
Yeah, so then that's advice for anyone. If you are considering something, try it out. So that's what we did on Outdoorsy. We rented out a little van just to see how it felt. And yeah, it was an old Sprinter. And
the layout was horrible.
It was
like a sofa bed kind of thing in the front.
Yeah.
But it got us to be like, oh, this is kind of small. And it was perfect because on that trip, we also saw there was a tiny home festival on the Sunday that we were gonna like drive out.
Yep.
Yeah, the tiny home festival, we got to like be in different layouts of vans, but we got to see there was like maybe like 4 or 5 school buses. And the school buses, there was 2 that was like the one that we have now, but with a 5 windows, like a shorter bus. Yeah. And we got in there and we were like, oh my God, this is like, so that is the great, because you go from a van into a bus, and right away you're going from the van to a bus. We're like, oh, the bus is living space. This is it, right? And then I start asking more questions to the owners, and I'm like, hey, how did you get it? Like, what do you suggest us do? And then she explained in California, it was, there's a 15 years of the school buses to be able to run, but the school district, after 15 years, they have to retire the bus. So she suggested calling school districts, and or auctions. She was like, or just going to Craigslist, but that's kind of like the order. So I was like, okay, noted. And on the Monday, as soon as we came back, I already reached out to some schools, but I also saw an auction.
4 or 5 school buses up, short school buses.
Yeah, there was a line of buses, but short ones were about 3 or 4.
Yeah, and then there was the one.
Yeah.
And yeah, you walk into it, you see the ball pit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there was our guardian angel.
So that day, what I remember the most is that as we are like looking the buses, this elderly man, like a Mexican American kind of guy, short, but a big smile and all that, and then you could see that he's like hanging around to talk to us, and then we just started a conversation, and that guy was kind of like we were like, this is like a guardian angel, because this guy had nothing to gain from us, but he just wanted to help. And we ended up knowing that he goes to every auction. And so he's kind of like a local guy, and he's been there forever. Everybody knew him. And he gave us a lot of pointers. So he's like, it looks great. It's a good engine. The bus looks nice. There was no ferrugem. I already forgot. Rust. There was no rust, because it's from California. So it never. We checked the tag, where was it from, where the bus was operating, and was right there on Lake Elsinore. So I'm like, okay, 15 years on this thing, and I also, before I went, I paid for the history. What's it called again?
Carmax.
Carmax is the chopstick. No.
Chopstick.
What is it again?
You check the Carfax.
Carfax, not the CarMax. Carfax. And I paid for it because I wanted, and then I saw the history of it, and it was, was there for 15 years in the area. So no rust. I checked also down there, And yeah, from the school district, it was bought out by this company called Party With, and they bought in 2017 or 18, and then they only used it for 1 year, so they spent all their money to take the seats out and like put the vinyl wrapping and build
disco ball,
ball pit, lights and all that. And I mean, I don't know if anyone knows about why they went under or anyone from that company, let us know. But yeah, there was only 1 year that they had the bus register, and then it was already for auction 2019. And oh yeah, we should have said that the day of the purchase was October 12, 2019.
Yeah.
And that day is so special. I'm jumping around, but
that's okay.
Because October 12 is the date that my dad passed 10 years prior to that.
10 years.
Simmer that. Wow. So how crazy the dates of it. But anyways.
10-year mark.
Yeah, so, so the guy, he's like, just hang around, watch everything, and then they're gonna be bringing in a line to start the auction. They're gonna put everything in line, so wait here to see how long does it take for the bus to start. And once it starts, to see the smoke coming out, if it's too dark or not, and how the engine sounds as they drive to bring it up to the front. So, we did that, we waited, and then it took a little while, but then the smoke was fine and the engine sounded good. He even gave us okay, no, this is good, it sounds good, you can go and bet on it, kind of thing. I was like, thanks man, thank you. Can you come stay closer? Come with us. So he actually sat right behind us, right? So
he was just as excited as we were.
Yeah, he was kind of I don't think he even goes there to buy things. I think he goes for the spectacle, right?
Yeah.
For the thing. So I guess you want to talk about we have a video of how the auction was. But
yeah, so in the video you can hear all the excitement of I had no idea what the guy was saying. It's saying numbers all fast. Apparently they do the auction in person and online, but Vitor is just cool, calm, and confident over there, and he has this paddle, his number. Was it a paddle? I don't even know, but there was a number that he just...
they gave, if you're gonna bet something, you register, and they give you a pamphlet explaining how the auction works and your number.
So I'm sitting there next to him and I'm recording everything, and it's just happening so fast. I love the way in the video you'll hear they describe the bus, and I think they call it a shaggin' wagon. Yeah. Everyone's just laughing. This bus was just hilarious because it's so out of the ordinary and doesn't belong there with all the other construction trucks.
Everything's serious construction.
So it felt perfect for us because we're also out of the ordinary.
Yeah, hopefully.
Playful type of, it's just... Anyways, so I didn't think it was gonna happen that fast. But his paddle, he's sitting there and his paddle's racing, and I'm looking over oh my gosh, this is happening.
Okay, so before we tell that story, when we were waiting there, this girl that clearly looks also that she came straight up from Hollywood.
LA vibes.
LA vibes of the way she was dressed and tattoos and all that. She alone, right? She's just checking the buses. She's checking also, most of the time she's checking the bus that I wanted. So I was like, oh my God, that's gonna be our competition. And it was. Once the auction started, she was sitting all the way in the back, and we were in this bidding war. And I'm not gonna let her, I'm gonna go until I win this thing. And yeah, we won, and
what now? That was a nice man. But it looks like it's tripped out outside. Yeah. Oh, really? It's got a little bouncy ball thing inside. Got iridescent paint on the outside. This thing looks
It's a shaggin' wagon.
Put one in, I guess. All right, with all that, David get forfeit out. I'm stumped. David, Joey will do it. David, what about 17? I got on the internet. 17, 18, 18, 19, 2 grand. David, 2 now 1, 22, 23, 3. That thing is cool, man. 22, 23, got a little bouncy balls in it. 3 now 4 now 5. 25 now 6. 6, 6, 8. David, 6, bam, you're out. 26, 7. David, 7, 7, 7. 10, 8. 28, David, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, bam. 2800, 2800, 28. I know you want to say yes, 29. 29, and 10, I'm gonna go 9 now, 3, 3, 3, 3, don't say no. 3 grand, 3,000, one more time. 3 grand, don't say no. 3,000. 3, are you sure?
Not you, babe?
Now 31. 31. 31, turn now 32. This might be a definite no. I think no means no, Charlie. 32. 10, I'm gonna go 32. Charlie.
Oh my God.
We're just waiting for the internet real quick here. So, $3,100, you get it.
Oh my gosh.
And the crazy fact is that I actually only had $4,000 in my checking account. I didn't have any more money. The rest I had credit card debt, but that's all I had. It was $4,000, and the bus ended up costing $3,300. I'm like, it was totally meant to be. I was broke, but I had her to help me out. Now I was like, okay, this is the money that I have to buy the bus. The rest we're gonna have to just either put it on credit card or figure things out.
Yeah, and I feel like there's little lessons that we learn along the way, or things that are true to us. And something that a theme that I see coming up in our lives, or since I met him, is we always have a number. And so we already said earlier, you had the number when we were buying the van.
Yeah, $600
a month. And then we had the number, and it just feels like when we have our discussion, come to an agreement, have our number, then the universe tells us whether it's meant for us or not.
Yeah, we make our plans and we go for it, and then we either our vibes, and we're like, okay, we can tell what's meant for us or it's not.
Exactly.
And the bus was, and we drove the bus to
Rialto.
Big shout out to Tita Gina and Tita Mariano, that because we didn't have a place to put the bus until that day that we called. Can we?
We're like, oh, we bought
the bus first, and then we're like, okay, where are we gonna put it? Like,
yeah.
Anyways, we were just kind of like winging it, and
as we always do.
Yeah. So she let us leave the bus there until we get it registered and all that, and bring it to Hollywood.
Yeah. And that's how the bus found us.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. We truly appreciate you being here. Please tune in next week where we'll dive into how we demolished the bus and started build out. See ya.